One Take Wine, we're back with the Domaine de Lettres 2017. It's a Castillon Côtes de Bordeaux. How the mighty have fallen, some might say, but at the same time, I have to admit, I kind of enjoy exploring these other terroirs that I didn't really have so much of an inkling about, but I'd read about the Castillon. I knew about it. I knew it existed. I just never really paid any attention to it. But I read about it in the summer on my plane ride to Paris when we were on our way to Paris, and I was kind of like, I started paying attention, and I paid attention to this one in particular, Domaine de Lettres, or just Lettres. I don't think it's Domaine. Because it's from Anne and Jacques Tiempon. And Anne and Jacques Tiempon are the couple, the people behind Le Pen. And I mean, I don't really, probably some of you know Le Pen, hopefully. Well, I don't know, hopefully or not. Some of you probably know Le Pen. For those of you who don't, it's one of the top Pomerol properties. In my opinion, the top Pomerol property. I place it higher than Petrus. You know, among the very, very top. And so there's Petrus, Le Pen, La Fleur. You might argue for L'Église Clinée as well, but I would say those three first of all, and then we get into a little bit of a fight for the next sort of level. La Fleur's kind of inconsistent, but fabulous when it's on. Petrus is always good, and Le Pen I've only had a few vintages of. It's kind of hard to find and expensive. But the ones I've had have been, I mean, I was trying the Le Pens, I remember, and as I approached them, because I knew what they were worth and how much they cost, and you know, all the brouhaha about them, I thought they can't be that good. There's just no way. You know, I was a bit of a, I had a hard time believing that, you know, spending a lot of money on wine was actually worth it at that point in my wine tasting journey. So, I mean, you know, I knew that you could buy big wines, but I really thought Burgundy was the only place you could really achieve that. Some Bordeaux's, but only in exceptional years from the top 5 West Bank producers. Chateau Margaux, things like that. Yeah, La Tour, Lafitte. But I tried Le Pen, and immediately, I mean, on the first sip, I went, oh, okay, oh my God, I'm in the presence of greatness. I was in the presence of greatness, and I remember the vintage was ridiculous. It was like 93 or something. It was a terrible vintage for Bordeaux. And it was an absolutely just knockout wine. That was my first time with Le Pen. I had one from the 80s, 87, I think, and then maybe in 89. Can't remember, I have to check my notes, but they were all exceptional, above every other wine of the evening. They were top of the pops. It's hard to, it has the magic, you know, it has the magic where wine is more than the sum of its parts. It's more than just grapes and juice and you know, wood. It's magic. So yeah, that's a long way around to get to Lettres. Lettres is a type of tree. What is it? I can't remember what tree it is. I think it's beech, but I'm not sure. Le Pen obviously is pine, and so the wineries they try to, I think they try to keep a consistent naming process. The second wine is some other tree. So yeah, I thought I'd give it a shot. It's 95% Merlot, 5% Cabernet Franc, about 30 euros a bottle, which you could argue is quite a lot for that region, but at the same time, considering who it's coming from and things like that, definitely worth a shot, right? I hope most people would agree with that. Maybe you don't. And if so, you're probably on the wrong channel. Why waste your time watching me? What's it like? Well, look at the color. First of all, I mean, it's 5 years old. It looks like it hasn't been touched, hasn't hit it's still purple. But boy, oh boy, it's got that woolly Merlot, the woolliness of it, but not a cloying woolly. Very, very clean. Very, very purple, plummy. Fresh linen. And then this yeah, there is a little bit of licorice, and there is kind of hidden, but it comes out. Licorice and maybe some thyme or rosemary, one of those herbs. What's striking about it is it's so well balanced. It's so well judged, because it's a very full and smooth entry, and it has a lot of tannin still. And that sort of happens in the third of the finish, you could say, after you've taken it in your mouth. The first 2/3 are very fruit driven. There's a little mineral that comes through, and then on the finish it sharpens up, gets more tannic, but also quite fresh and a little bit pinchy from the acidity. I'm probably making it sound negative, and I don't mean it as negative. I think it's mushroomy as well. I think there's a lot of mushroom. It reminds me of a Pomerol. This definitely reminds me of a Pomerol wine. It's very right bank. You would never mistake it for left bank. It's exceptionally well balanced. Full mouth, beautiful tannic finish. Bit short. That's the only thing I will say about it. Right now, it's a bit short. I think they've only made this in a few vintages since like 2016. So, I mean, it's 2002nd vintage, third vintage, maybe fourth vintage, I don't know. It isn't that many vintages. So who knows what it's going to be in the future. And remember, this is young, right? Like, I think this can age. I really do. So, an incredible value. Really, really top-notch wine. There's the label again. It's even a nice label. I think these are worth buying by the case, to be honest. You could do a lot worse. If you're a Pomerol fan, I think you should buy these by the case and you should drink them, because they're you know, you can't drink good Pomerol all the time. Well, if you can, then you also are watching the wrong channel. But if you like the style, that kind of style, if you like the Merlot-driven type wines when they're classy and well built, and they don't break the bank, then this is the one for sure. Absolutely fantastic wine. I hope you appreciate this note. I hope you will find a bottle and try it for yourself, and let me know in the comments. All right, I have a 2018 I'm going to open soon-ish. I don't know when. And then I'm probably going to try and source more of these at some point and put, like I said, these are the ones that, you know, you got to get ahead of before they become too famous. At the same time, the Toll Puddle, which I opened yesterday and talked about, the Toll Puddle Chardonnays, you know, they're only 10 euros more a bottle, the Chardonnay, the Toll Puddle Chardonnay, and that is, I mean, that's more than 10 euros better than this wine, if you can imagine. I mean, I think that wine is it's a future superstar that people are going to fight over, guaranteed. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. That's just one of the best wines I've definitely had in this early part of the year. I hope the year keeps up like this, because it's really started off well. Oh, and then just to finish off, yesterday I opened a 2000 Chambord Musigny from Fevely and had it overnight. I had a mouthful this morning, still maybe half a glass. And you know what? The acidity was the thing that I made a big deal about, that it was almost volatile. Calmed right down. Even the metallic thing sort of disappeared. Held its own. Was fine overnight with just this much in the bottle. I drank it. I really enjoyed it. I found it more complex today than yesterday. This fair Chambord-Musigny continues to perplex me. I am going to keep trying to figure it out. I changed my mind. I am going to try and source more old ones and buy them and drink them and see what the hell is going on there. Until the next one, stay thirsty.